It was that long statement of the Secretary General Raphael Tuju about the Deputy President, and in that clip that we just listened to, he is talking about how the Deputy President proposed names for cabinet, majority of whom were from his ethnic community, and went ahead to say that he was blackmailing the President with the numbers that he had brought on board. Did you get a feeling of this at the time that you served as Cabinet Secretary in that government?
I wouldn't say I am familiar with that. I was in cabinet, in the first cabinet, and I'm not privy to how the cabinet members were selected, and so I cannot say who appointed who. I know when I was proposed, I know that my name came from His Excellency President Kenyatta, but I cannot tell whose name came from where amongst the other members that we had. So I don't think I can comment really confidently on that matter.
Okay, all right. But if you had to reflect on those statements at a time that we have known the second term of President Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto to be what it is, the fallout that has been, what do you make of this? And as we transition to the next election cycle and actually regime, what lessons must we learn from this process?
Let me say it's very unfortunate where we find ourselves. As a leader and as somebody who was there in the Jubilee government from the beginning, it's really unfortunate that this is where we are. And again, a place where we all need to sit back, all of us, all sides of the divide, and ask ourselves, where did we go wrong? So that this country doesn't find itself in a place that is like this again. And I know that politics is not very straightforward, and there are very many nuts and bolts that go into running governments and very many complexities. But I think to be in a situation where you have the president and the deputy are not completely working together is something that we need to think about. And I think, considering the way our constitution is wired, we need to also reflect on what is it that we did, and I say we because we are in government. What is it that we did to either fuel it or to put us in a situation where there's a completely almost collapse of our relationship? Because it affects all of us as a country. It affects the leaders. It affects the people, the population at large, because people tend to take sides, and it's not a good thing at all. And the lesson that we need to learn is that going forward, whoever chooses running it will need to do that in consideration of various factors, and then whatever commitments that you give each other, because apparently maybe the conversations, and I said I'm not privy to the reason why they are not completely together, but whatever it is that caused that division and that breakup, that doesn't happen. If it was an issue of the pre-election agreements to do with like what we are saying in Mount Kenya, that we will expect that the projects that are being done will be continued. We expect economic empowerment. We expect, how do you ensure that those commitments you have done when you're getting into this arrangement are actually kept, those promises are kept, so that we do not find ourselves in this situation, if that is really the issue. Or if it is an issue of let me say, hierarchy or priority, or what it is that you're doing, how do you manage that? And consider politics, because by the time somebody is a president and a running mate, those people, both of them are very strong individuals. Both of them have serious influence. Both of them have serious resources. And so managing that is very useful. I would recommend, by the way, one of the things that I would recommend is what President Kibaki had, which is the NESC, which is the National Economic and Social Council, a council of senior people in government who would be like advisors. And I have no interest in in the government. So if it's on matters economic, if matters political, they caucus, they sit somewhere and they say, by the way, we need to continue moving in this direction, or we need to change this, otherwise we will have serious friction in the future. And I think that helps. I think maybe that is one thing in my own personal reflection when I think about this government. That's what I would advise. President Kibaki navigated a very difficult time, but I think the NESC helped to ensure that the country still continued. And you need those voices of reason, those elders, those senior people who have served in governments, people who are known to be arbiters, people who can bring people together and be respected, or people who can also advise and say, I think in this area you need to go in the right direction and be listened to, because that I think is one of the things that in my personal view would have helped us. But the next government probably will have to consider that, or even this one at this point in time when we are in 1 year to elections.